We'll be looking at the book of Daniel. In Daniel chapter 3, you could see that King Nebuchadnezzar, having made the golden image, he called the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image he had made. And he said the only thing that they are to do is that they should just bow down and worship when they hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, the dulcimer, and all kinds of music. So I want you to take note of something from here. King Nebuchadnezzar did not call slaves. He called high dignitaries to come and bow to his image. So King Nebuchadnezzar was not literally, I don't know how to put it, look for just cheap people to come around. No, he looked for important people because the image he made, he has placed high priority on it. And then when the sound was blown in different language, people from different languages and tongues just fell down and worshipped the golden image. Then a clan, the Chaldeans, came around and said, "O king, when you blew this instrument," some group of 3 young boys or young guys, they refused to bow. And then King Nebuchadnezzar sent for them. And when he sent for them in his anger, he told them, "Is it true that the 3 of you, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you refused to bow and worship the image I have set up?" And he said, "Okay, let me give you another opportunity. If when you hear the instrument and you refuse to bow, first and foremost, do you remember that there was a burning fury furnace that I had made for those that would disobey? Number 2, I want to see that God that will deliver you out of my hands." And that was the mistake he made. A very great mistake he made. To say that, who is that God that will deliver you out of my hands? And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego now said, "Sir, we don't have any defense on this matter. God can rescue us, but even though you refuse to rescue us, we will not bow to your graven image." Now, another thing I want to pinpoint is that the book of Daniel chapter 3 is divided into two verses. Please permit me to use it that way. Chapter 1 to chapter 15. Sorry, verse 1 to verse 15 and verse 15 to verse 30. I don't know if you get it. That's chapter 3 verse 1 to 15 and chapter 3 verse 15 to 30. Why I want to divide it that way is because if Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had actually bowed to that graven image, I hope you know that story would have ended in verse 15 of chapter 3. They wouldn't have been from verse 16 to 30. If they had actually bowed, would have just known that, okay, and they bowed like every other person, and that's where that story would have ended. But because they refused to bow, we had continuation. I came to understand one thing about my own life. I don't know for you that is listening. Do you know that your life is actually divided into 2 phases? The phase of your ability to overcome sin and the phase in which you have submitted to sin. And every phase has a story longer than that which you're currently facing. I don't know if you understand. If these people are actually bowed to these instructions from the king, remember they were slaves actually on a very normal, although they were promoted, yes, through Daniel's obedience and work. They were not actually very important people as it were from the initial stage. And so that would have even become a problem to them. But these guys knew who they were in Christ Jesus, and in God as at then. Yes, let me use the right term. Now, when the king decided that fiery furnace should be heated 7 more times, even those people that heated it died. That would have brought forth fear upon them. That would have made them to begin to shiver. Jesus! Imagine the people that are doing this or they are already dead, but they stood firm on their affirmations, on their convictions, on their confessions, on their belief. And do you know what happened? When they were thrown into that fiery furnace, nothing literally happened to them. Primarily, as they were thrown, when they might have even entered the fiery furnace, they should have died. They must have died. So that would have been their final declaration. But these guys know that because there was an invasion, there was a supernatural shift, something literally happened. Now, what I'm picking out from all this is not all those things happen, but the king came out and said that, oh, bless the name of the Lord. Look at what he said. He said that every nation, every people, every language that will speak anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut into pieces. Even their house shall be turned to a dunghill, because there is no God that can deliver after this sort. Now, my question is, do you know that if Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had fallen into this supposed idolatry, that the king wouldn't have had the ability to speak out in such manner? My question now to you is that the number of times that you're falling into sin, whatsoever be the sin, and the name, I don't want to call anyone right now. Do you know that you're the reason why certain things have not been corrected in our nation, in our community, even in your life, even in your family? Because maybe there was an aftermath, a resultant effect of what you would have done, but because of your negligence and easily falling into sin, forgetting the Bible has said that there's a way of escape over every temptation that comes our way. Could it be the reason why certain things are still the way it is? If Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had bowed, then we wouldn't have had a continuation of that story.